Howdy everyone, and welcome to the Serial Geek TV YouTube channel. My name is James Eatock, and today I present to you the second of two videos that explore a rather unique piece of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles history, a two-part Japanese exclusive cartoon. In the first part, I explained how these two Japanese OVAs came to be, and I detailed the story of the first OVA. In this video, I shall of course detail what occurred in the second. Now strap yourselves in, because if you thought that the first one was a tad odd, this one is going to get downright wacky. The Coming of the Guardian Beasts. Much like the first anime, this second anime starts with a flashback. However, this time around we have already seen the events that comprise this flashback. As with the first flashback, this one also warns of a pending new disaster. The Turtles arrive in Japan and, unlike the original series, have no problems walking around in public as they are. No one in Japan seems to bat an eyelid at the sight of four bright green turtles as they emerge from the airport terminal. In the first group shot of the episode, it appears that April O'Neil now resembles her American counterpart in the physical sense. Although in the first anime production the Technodrome was on Earth, in the first villainous scene of this episode it appears to be located in Dimension X, as in the second and fourth season of the original cartoon. We then see Krang simply laughing incessantly, prompting Shredder, who sports a different costume to the one he wore in the first anime, Bebop and Rocksteady to cover their ears. The three of them fear for Krang's sanity, prompting Bebop to come up with the metaphor that if you were to cut the string tied to a kite, the kite would fly off endlessly. It's safe to say that Bebop of the original series wouldn't know what a metaphor was, let alone be able to spell the word. Krang reveals that he has located a new Mutastone, much to the Shredder's annoyance. He flat out refuses to go searching for it, deeming the previous Mutastones useless. Krang is not impressed with Shredder's unwillingness and threatens him with annoyance. In an odd but hilarious scene, it turns out that this Krang can use his shrill voice and annoying laugh to get the Shredder to carry out his orders.
Yoda!
Aboard the bullet train, Splinter reveals to the Turtles that his friend Kinzo Hitori of the Shinobi Village has asked for his help, whilst at the same time producing a large Japanese makimono with the word HELP written on it in uppercase English. Further along the tracks of the bullet train, we see a portal open, dumping out Shredder, Bebop and Rocksteady with little grace. As they rise to their feet, they are hit by the bullet train and tossed into the air, with the sheer speed causing them to fly along the length of the train. The Turtles, looking out the window towards the mighty Mount Fuji, see the three villains fly past the window. The villains somehow manage to hold on to the train but are confronted by the Turtles atop one of the carriages. As the Turtles strike an immediately heroic pose, they are caught off guard by the force of the winds and lose their footing. Leonardo and Shredder attempt to figure out what the other is doing. However, Shredder doesn't even know where he is until Michelangelo points out that they're in Japan. Upon hearing this, Shredder comically rises to his feet as he becomes all nostalgic for his home, only to then get blown off his feet and into one of the raised carriages further down the train. The battle scene atop the train features some beautiful animation, as in true Bebop and Rocksteady style, they unleash the awesome firepower of their respective guns. It is at this point during the anime I found myself questioning the non-existence of the Turtles' weapons. Suddenly, ninjas appear from nowhere and begin attacking the villains. Now, normally when ninjas show up in animation, everything becomes rather serious, but not here. The ninjas are played for comedy effect, and thanks to some fantastic animation and comic timing, the ninjas' impact on the anime is hilarious. Shredder, Bebop and Rocksteady find themselves the targets of hundreds upon hundreds of shurikens thrown by the large collective of ninjas. The speed in which these scenes are animated adds to the comedy. Aboard the bullet train once more, we see the leader of the ninjas, Kinzo Hitori, greet Splinter. The scene is wonderfully shot through April's camera, showcasing an incredibly good use of forced perspective with the background artwork and cells. Once in the village, Kinzo reveals that their legendary mirror needs protecting. It turns out that the mirror houses 7 Mutastones. During this scene, Kinzo reveals 4 suits of ninja armour for the turtles, which they don within seconds. The following morning, the group are awoken by Yukimura, a vengeful ghost imprisoned by Kinzo's ancestors ages ago. As Yukimura laughs at the group, Shredder, Bebop and Rocksteady appear on the scene. Humorously, upon receiving no reaction from the turtles, Shredder accuses the heroes in a half shell of being impolite. It is at this point that the script takes a somewhat odd turn. In order to protect the Mutastones within the mirror from falling into the hands of evil, Kinzo pulls a chain, resulting in a large explosion. In a beautiful piece of animation, the turtles land on the ground first, each face down. This is followed by April, Splinter and Kinzo landing on their shells with a great deal of dignity and grace. Once everyone has risen to their feet, they see a large crater out of which the raised hidden fortress of the Shinobi village towers out of the ground atop a large stone pillar. Both sides realise that they must scale the large structure in order to retrieve the mirror. In one of my favourite scenes from the anime, and one of the 3 clips that I saw back in 1997, Shredder, Bebop and Rocksteady race towards the pillar with such speed that upon reaching it, they begin to ascend it. In other words, they simply run up the side of the structure. The turtles also heroically run up the side of the structure, but in a nice twist, within seconds of them demonstrating their heroics, we see them slumped over, barely able to climb. As the villains reach the roof summit, they find the ninjas are already there waiting for them. In order to slow the villains down in their quest and let the turtles reach the summit, the ninjas produce numerous duplicate mirrors which they throw onto the roof. Shredder, Bebop and Rocksteady are shocked as the duplicate mirrors land in front of them. In a delightful piece of comical animation, we see Shredder angrily posed as Bebop and Rocksteady stood either side of him show their frustration through gritted teeth and clenched fists, whilst also running on the spot. Inside the temple, Krang appears on a staircase, having journeyed to Japan via a portal, and attempts to block the turtles' ascent of the staircase. However, in a wonderful blink and you'll miss it piece of animation, all 4 turtles pass by Krang without even touching him, even though the space in which they are in is confined. Upon locating the mirror, Shredder activates 3 of the 7 Mutastones in the mirror. Suddenly, Mount Fuji begins to stir and we see glowing objects emerge from within, once more accompanied by a sound effect used in the real Ghostbusters cartoon. The 3 objects reveal themselves as metal beasts, which combine with the forms of Shredder, Bebop and Rocksteady, magically transforming their physicality once again. One has to say that the metal forms of Bebop and Rocksteady are impressive, as are their respective, if not crazy, new abilities. Bebop uses his new form to unleash his great killer whale wave, while Rocksteady calls forth the metallic snaker. The end result has the turtles attacked by a large tidal wave of water from Bebop and oversized snakes from Rocksteady. The heavily decked out in metal Shredder unleashes his Tiger Blade attack, which practically vaporizes the turtles, although they are still very much alive. Kinzo and his fellow ninjas manage to take back the mirror and urges the turtles to unleash the power, which they do. Once again, Mount Fuji shakes, and this time 4 metal beasts emerge, combining with the 4 turtles, giving them their metal powers and abilities. It should be said that this transformation sequence lasts quite a while, as each of the turtles announces their metal transformations in the same way the villains did. As with their powers in the previous anime, we learn that this power will only last for a certain time, 6 minutes to be exact. The turtles then unleash their uniquely named attacks on the villains, all of which undermine the villains' powers as they are brutally destroyed one attack after the other. And in a hilarious one-on-one with Leonardo, Shredder's power leaves his body, resulting in him being bathed in fire from Leonardo's wonderfully named Thunder Atomic Blast attack. Soon after, the villains retreat and the turtles are victorious. That said, in a rather odd ending, the statuesque hidden fortress upon which all of the heroes celebrate collapses due to it being flimsy. East meets West. For die-hard fans of the franchise, especially the original cartoon, it's hard to adjust to the numerous character power-ups across the two animes. When I saw the promotional material for these productions back in the late 90s, I couldn't get my head around the human-looking turtles and the fact that Shredder's power-ups in the first anime turned him into a dragon-like creature, complete with tail. It is also strange to go through both animes and only see one shot featuring the turtles with their original weapons. And don't get me started on the fact that Shredder's redesign sees him with no blades. Adding to these somewhat irksome elements is the music, which at times is dull and can barely be heard. And sometimes there's no music at all.
ああ、そうかい。高所恐怖症の人には勧められないな。スプリンター先生。
おい。やれやれ、古式兵法を身につけておったおかげで助かった。
クリス・ミューも無事だったんだね。よかったよかった。
In animation, music is one of the most important factors in creating a feel for the scene. The music across these two productions trudges along with barely any notable compositions. Now, let us take a look at the same scene, but this time with a piece of music from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series.
ああ、そうかい。高所恐怖症の人には勧められないな。スプリンター先生。
おい。やれやれ、古式兵法を身につけておったおかげで助かった。
クリス・ミューも無事だったんだね。よかったよかった。
Due to the formulaic structure of powered up characters in anime, we kind of know how each and every battle will progress. For those that have ever watched an episode of Ultraman or Power Rangers, you will know that the heroes will fight up until a point where all seems lost, prompting them to combine their abilities, unleashing their special attack, which then effortlessly defeats the villain. And it's no different here. As soon as the turtles become the Turtle Saint or gain their metal powers, we know that the villains will be defeated within mere moments once the special move is executed. That said, the idea of the turtles unifying their abilities in order to become the Turtle Saint is an incredibly well executed and original idea for the Western world, and it is one of many enjoyable aspects that these animes have on offer. Visually, the two animes shine bright, certainly far more so than episodes of the original series animated by MWS Dublin, although one could accuse the first anime of being somewhat static in its presentation at times. None could deny that the second anime features some fantastic movements. It is clear from both of these productions that the director and animators were having a great deal of fun working on them, as the character movements are often infused with a great deal of artistry and style. It would have been incredibly easy for the director and animators to remove themselves from the original series and redesign the entire cast, but the fact that they adhered to the designs that many of us grew up with is a testament to those original character models. It is worth mentioning that when these two animes were produced, the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon had been given a complete visual overhaul in an attempt to ape the style and feel of Batman the Animated Series. So it is nice to see a mid-90s cartoon featuring the Turtles that uses the original and much loved character designs of the 80s, and as much as I love the original Shredder, one has to say that his costume changes, prior to his superpowered transformations, are visually very appealing regardless of the lack of blades. I especially think close attention should be paid to Krang, Bebop and Rocksteady, who are visually exactly the same as their original counterparts. They are animated in such a way that it's hard not to want them to have behaved this way throughout the original series, although I could happily do without Krang's high-pitched voice. Give me Pat Fraley every day of the week. One of the things that surprised me most about the two animes, most notably the second, was that the humour actually worked. In my experience with anime, I've always found that due to poor dubbing, bad translations or cultural differences, the humour tends to fall pretty flat. But in these two anime productions, the humour actually works, and throughout I had a smile on my face. The villains are most definitely played for comedy throughout the anime, and I think it's fair to say are played for comedy even more so than the original series. The turtles themselves are pretty one-dimensional throughout both animes, as there is no doubt that the villains are the stars, and when you think of numerous episodes of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the villains often had the best scenes or pieces of dialogue. Overall, I feel that the second anime is far stronger than the first, with more entertaining action sequences and better visuals. It actually has the feel of a traditional episode of the original series because they spend a great deal of the episode in their original forms and spend less time powered up. Expectations. I've always been a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, yet I will happily admit that I went into watching this two-part anime with very low expectations. However, I must say that I was pleasantly surprised at how well it remained true to everything that made the original series so much fun in the first place. And that is the key word, fun. Those looking for deep, thought-provoking, typically gritty anime fare should most definitely look elsewhere. But if you like anything Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles related, be sure to check it out. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.